Speaker Kavayege Jibril and Senate President Masenya Njifenji called for synergy in the fight against COVID-19 and commend President Paul Biya's effort in stemming the spread of the coronavirus during the opening of the second ordinary session at the National Assembly and Senate today. The Electricity Development Corporation, EDC, takes full control of the Memvele Hydro Power Plant with an expected production capacity of 80 megawatts. Just how big is the structure for the socio-economic growth of the South region? Get answers in this edition. Plus, state-funded projects in the littoral region have been assessed with project supervisors exhorted to make available documents which clearly indicate the deadlines for each project. And those are top stories. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Senate President Masenya Njifenji has lauded the measures taken by government to ensure the effective management of the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that only forces can find fault in what government has done thus far. He was speaking at the Yaoundé Conference Center today during the opening of the second ordinary session of the Senate for the 2020 legislative year. Senate correspondent Charles Anyangwe tells us more.
Senators, members of government and invited guests arrived at the Yaoundé Conference Center this Wednesday with their face masks, an indication that the COVID-19 is still a cause for concern. While in the House chamber, senators, members of government led by Prime Minister Chief Joseph John Gute listened keenly to the inaugural speech of Senate President Masenya Njifenji that dwelled principally on the measures taken by the head of state to put the pandemic at bay. Senate President made it clear that the Senate supports all the measures taken by the government and welcomed the resilience and the spirit of solidarity of Cameroonians who have stood by the head of state to face these challenging times. This view was bought by some senators.
All of us appreciate the efforts made by government in addressing the urgency of the moment, which is the COVID-19.
I think that the measures that are being taken is going to help to stop this pandemic, or at least to ameliorate the situation.
Senate President also talked about the budgetary allocation debate that will be on the agenda during this session.
It is just the wisdom of the head of state to realize that with all of what is happening, those adjustments were absolutely needed, and it is going to be a huge concentration on what is topical in the entire Cameroonian agenda.
He welcomed members of the National Assembly who will be meeting during their plenaries at the Yaoundé Conference Center and added that in a few days they will be meeting in Congress for the oath-taking of a member of the Constitutional Council appointed by the head of state. He ended by calling on senators to exercise a high sense of responsibility as they vote bills and control government action.
At the National Assembly, the opening speech of House Speaker Honorable Kavayege Jibril dwelled on the commendable efforts made by government to stem the spread of the coronavirus in Cameroon. He enjoined the population to strictly respect measures put in place in order to stay safe from the contagious virus. Esther Kima reports on the opening at the conference center where firm anti-COVID-19 methods have been instituted.
It was an unusual opening of the second ordinary session where every member of the National Assembly must go through the disinfectant scanner before accessing the lobby. After completing the registration formalities, another anti-COVID-19 dispenser makes sure the contagious virus stays out of the House chamber. It is in this secured atmosphere that the session opened in the House filled by members of government led by Prime Minister Joseph John Gute and the Vice Presidents of the Senate for Tabetando, amongst other dignitaries. Welcoming the elected representatives, Honorable Kavaige Jibril harped on the 19 barrier measures prescribed by the state to stall the spread of the deadly virus and said it was imperative for the population to respect the recommendations to the letter. While applauding the content of President Paul Biya's message to the nation on May 19, the National Solidarity Fund, and efforts to find a cure for the coronavirus, the spirited union of all Cameroonians was commended.
The Speaker has said just what everybody wanted to hear. With the type of energy he has put up, things are going to change.
Let the government work with indigenous Africans and Cameroonians in particular to ensure that the disease is eliminated in this nation.
They are also concerned about the way forward.
We've launched a website, www.237after.com, where people can contribute and try to help us reflect as lawmakers.
To win the battle, they agree that the repressive phase must be reinforced.
All institutions are at work, and to call on the population to be very confident, to respect state institutional rules and regulations put for the COVID-19.
The session opens with 3 new alternate members from the CDU and FSNC expected to replace the regular members who've opted for the position of mayor.
In one of our lead stories, the Director General of the Electricity Development Corporation, EDC, Theodore Sango, says energy currently produced at the Memvela hydropower plant will increase from 60 to 80 megawatts in the months ahead. He made the revelation during a 2-day working visit to the power station in Nyabiza and Tem Valley of the South region to outline EDC's priority projects as the structure takes over the management and exploitation of the power station. Clarence Aze completes the story from CRTV South in Ebolova.
3 years after the construction of the Memvela hydropower station, only 60 of the expected 211 megawatts of energy is being generated by one of the 4 hydraulic turbine generators in the powerhouse. The production capacity is limited for now due to the ongoing construction of the 287 kilometers transmission line from Nyabizan to Yaoundé, which engineers say is near completion. The Electricity Development Corporation, the structure in whose hands the head of state has entrusted the management of the hydropower plant, intends to step up the production capacity from 60 to 80 megawatts in the months ahead. This was the raison d'etre of the visit of the managing director of EDC, Theodore Sango, to Memvela.
To increase the output from 60 megawatt to 80 megawatts, this is our main objective very urgently. You have to clarify some technical problems on the turbines.
The additional energy will be injected into the South Interconnected Network to boost energy supply. Theodore Sango also wants to connect the entire Tem Valley division as soon as possible.
Essentially, we have to increase the system of rural electrification for the population.
EDC also intends to revitalize the socio-economic support program of Memvela, PASEM, so as to minimize the environmental and social impact of the hydropower plant on the population. In this light, the Director General of EDC has reassured traditional rulers of neighboring villages to the plant that he will apply the experience from Lompanga for their socio-economic welfare.
The handing over of the management of the Memvela hydropower plant to the Electricity Development Corporation, EDC, has rekindled hope in the surrounding populations directly hit by the environmental and socio-economic impact of the structure. The EDC has promised to revitalize the socio-economic support program of the Memvela, PASEM, and many are looking forward to seeing more projects that will better their living conditions. Darish Alegnui of CRTV South compiled the expectations of the population of Nyabizan and sent this report.
The presence of the Memvela hydroelectric plant has had a huge impact on its immediate environment. Plantations and farmlands, as well as entire villages in Nyabizan, have been covered with water, causing many people to relocate to other areas.
They've brought down our houses and nothing has been done, whereas we were the first occupants here. We are waiting for compensations.
The socio-economic support program of Memvela has made great strides to mitigate the negative effect of the hydropower plant. Some roads have been tarred, boreholes and health centers constructed, and youths trained on modern farming and fishing techniques. Locals, nonetheless, are clamoring for more.
The state has to help us. We have enough farmland, so we want the government to empower us with materials and finances to boost our agriculture.
The people see the arrival of the Electricity Development Corporation as a glimmer of hope. The coordinator of PASEM says they will be able to do more.
National School of Local Administration, NASLA, is 4 months old. But while it takes shape, some of the persons and establishments that are supposed to be trained by the new institution are getting into office without the professional and technical know-how. These people, including the new elected local councillors, are already in office. The question Kilian Difon went out to seek answers to is how effective can they be in office, and what are the measures the Supervisory Ministry of Decentralization is putting in place to fill the gap. His report.
Created by Presidential Decree of March 2, 2020, the National School of Local Administration, NASLA, based in Boya, is designed to train local and regional councillors, establishments, trade unions and other entities. But as we speak, its services are urgently needed at the time it is still taking shape.
The National School of Local Administration has come at the right time. It has not come to fill a vacuum. It is coming to transform into context another school, CEFAM. But it was a context with a multitude of training institutions. The Ministry of Decentralization was also training executive of the local decentralized entities.
Council executives have been renewed up to about 90%, with some of them having very little knowledge of local administration. The worry is, with NASLA still taking shape, how do the newcomers already in office get capacity building for effective service?
La réflexion en cours au niveau de la division des systèmes d'information.
The division of the information system in the Ministry of Decentralization is working on how to train them within the context of COVID-19, which does not permit to gather more than 360 mayors in the country. We are considering teleconferencing. We are also thinking of taking them in groups. One of these options will soon take form as we wait for NASLA to effectively start training them, which is their full function.
It is a circumstantial situation which is neither peculiar to NASLA nor is it to Cameroon. The most urgent issue is to control the spread of COVID-19.
The state of projects in Douala, financed by the public investment budget, has been evaluated, with delegates in charge of programming their execution urged to produce documents with corresponding deadlines for each project. The call was made by the Secretary General at the Littoral Governor's Office, Thierry Kino Nana, during a meeting with actors involved in the elaboration of projects. Larry's Nane Epote has the details from CRTV, Douala.
The maturation of top projects such as the construction of boreholes, electrifying villages, building of classrooms, health centers and rehabilitating some stretches of roads already mapped out to be financed by the public investment budget, such as the second bridge over the Vuri, rehabilitation of the east entrance to Douala, are almost at the stage of completion.
We have the Japoma Stadium and the Panda Stadium, who have already at around 87%. We are going to finish the road Yassa, Dibamba Bridge. We are going to finish the road Yabasi, Douala, Yabasi, Bonpopa.
But some projects are still facing major setbacks as actors involved are yet to come up with complete documents that gives a rundown of projects from scrap to their state of maturity. Wednesday's encounter in Douala among local delegates in charge of the maturity and programming of public investment projects from all divisions of the littoral was to identify some of the problems delaying or stopping the validation of certain projects.
We have a lot of malfunction because of the lack of maturation of the project, so that the ministry decided to ameliorate the level of presentation of the project.
Recommendations arrived at were accelerating the procedure of contractualization of public contracts and multiply follow-up visits on the ground.
Authorities of the Nkola Famba Council in the Mefo and Afamba division of the Center region have urged vendors at the Marché Arrêt Bus Nkwabang to move to the newly constructed market site. This follows the destruction of the makeshift market in the area to ease circulation along the National Road number 10 that links Cameroon and Chad and the Central African Republic. Yannick Lema tells us more from our Center regional station.
After several consultations with vendors at the Marché Arrêt Bus at Nkwabang, the Nkola Famba Council finally moved into action by destroying the rather crowded place to force people to go to the new site, a decision which the mayor says had become inevitable considering the congestion and traffic it caused at the Nkwabang junction.
This market is in the crossroad. You know, we have the corridor from Douala to N'Djamena and Central African Republic, and more than 300 vehicles pass through this point. So we have to create a municipal market for the population to carry out the activities orderly.
The vendors, for their part, claim that they have been taken unaware.
We never knew they were going to destroy the new market that is à l'entrée carrière. They were asking us to go there, and this population that is here cannot be okay. It cannot be okay in the other market, and we never had no other option. We don't know. Either they will maybe show another place for us, or we'll just keep managing.
The mayor of Nkola Famba has, however, insisted that the vendors and the population of the locality must relocate to the new market to help the council execute its urbanization plan.
Mafuda has been installed as the new board chair of the Applied Research Endoscopic Surgery and Human Reproduction Hospital Center, better known by its French acronym CRTV. He replaces Sarafin Magloire Fuda, Secretary General at the Prime Minister's Office. Staff Lady Enaga Kebi witnessed the silent ceremony. Her report.
It was a brief yet solemn ceremony at CRTV as the administrative team queued at the entrance of the lobby to welcome Andre Mamafuda, the new president of the Board of Administration of the Hospital Center, CRTV. A happy comeback to Andre Mamafuda to a house he knows very well. Appointed on the 27th of May 2020 by a presidential decree, Andre Mamafuda is coming back with the motive to improve on the set objectives of the structure, namely treating cancer in women, procreation, and training. Here he also promised to collaborate with Professor Jean-Marie Cassia, the pioneer general manager of the house, with whom they brainstormed together for the smooth takeoff of CRTV.
I will express my deep gratitude to the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, for his high confidence placed to me. And I will address my great gratitude to the First Lady, Mrs. Chantal Biya, for her support in my life.
Inaugurated on the 6th of May 2016 by Mrs. Chantal Biya, Andre Mamafuda, the then supervising minister at the helm of public health, is today chuffed to be back as the board chair and promised total collaboration with the entire administrative and technical team for more success.
I will do my best to continue to increase the performance of this institution.
Speaking earlier, the outgoing board chair, Sarafin Magloire Fuda, disclosed that the success rate of CRTV stands at 70%. CRTV is recognized both nationally and internationally. Respecting the barrier measures against COVID-19, the ceremony was free from the usual handshakes and overcrowding, while physical distancing was observed in the hall. It has been the wish of both the outgoing and incoming board chair to make Mrs. Chantal Biya's dream about CRTV a reality for women.
We should bear in mind that negligence by a single individual can seriously harm the entire community.
Measures to stem the spread of the COVID-19 are strictly being observed in boarding schools across the capital city, while school authorities have taken the commitment to regularly sensitize its staff and students on the need to respect the coronavirus measures. The number of students per classroom and dormitory have been reduced. Romeo Kenny toured some of these schools this Wednesday and reports that the students have equally been cautioned not to exchange uniforms amongst themselves. Romeo?
These are Form 5 students of Christian Comprehensive Secondary School heading to the refectory. Breakfast this Wednesday morning is bread and tea.
In the ref, as we are eating now, we are very spaced out. Each student puts on the mask when you are not eating. Then when you are about to eat, you put the mask down.
Not only their meals are prepared on campus, even their bread is prepared in our own bakery that prepares quality saccharide-free bread and give to the children.
In the classrooms, like in the dormitories, barrier measures are strictly observed.
And so on their coming in, on the first day of June, when they had to come in, they were screened at the gate. There are now 10 students in a dormitory that used to take 24 students. The classrooms that used to have about 60 students, 50 students, we have trimmed them down to 24.
No COVID-19 case has been reported within the school compound, but the dispensary remains on the alert.
We have not detected one case, but we had cases of like sickle cell patients that are on particular treatment that they follow.
At Baptist High School Awai, another boarding school, it is a similar atmosphere that prevails.
In our classes, we have between 21 and 24 students, depending on the size of the class. We've divided our Form 5, which used to be 2 classes, we've shared them now into 5 different classes. While in the dormitories, we have between 10 to 15 students per dormitory.
Although these institutions are free from coronavirus spread for now, school authorities are permanently sensitizing staff and students on prescribed measures until they say the ravaging pandemic is set at bay.
The government's decision prohibiting the sale of food in school premises has pushed heads of primary schools in Bertua to adopt measures which will guarantee safe feeding for pupils. They include ensuring that pupils bring their food from their homes and that they eat under the watchful eyes of their teachers while restricting them from sharing with their classmates. Tala El Til tells us more from CRTV East in Bertua.
Since the government banned the selling of food items in school campuses as a means of rolling back the spread of the coronavirus, heads of primary schools in Bertua have taken up the challenge to make sure what the children eat and how they eat comply with the laid-down guideline.
During break, they are not allowed to go out of the class. We make sure when it is 11 o'clock, which is our time for break, they go out one after the other. They wash their hands, they come back to class, and they take their breakfast in class. Nobody is allowed to move around.
To manage people is too difficult. We try to manage them, to repeat, give them the advice to how to be during the break.
The main worry these teachers had in the beginning was to wipe out the old habits of sharing snacks during break amongst the pupils. A problem which they say was solved by continuous sensitization.
We've really sensitized the children, and I think from the instructions they are giving through the televisions as we were sitting in our homes, parents were really sensitized. They are also afraid to lose their children.
In spite of numerous campaigns to sensitize parents on the need for them to give their kids snack packs before going to school, some still expose these kids by sending them to school without even a loaf of bread. This act pushes the pupils to beg from their friends, thereby exposing them.
We now take you over to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, from where Gilbert Ongene will be giving us an update on the COVID-19 situation in Cameroon. Well, hello, Gilbert. So what is the latest updates over there?
Hello, Gladys Tata. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center here in the Mesa neighborhood in Yaoundé. Well, the news out there is that we have 248 new cases of people who have been tested positive to the COVID-19 in the country today. 70 recoveries were recorded and 6 deaths today, Wednesday, June 10, 2020, across the national territory. During the press briefing that took place a while ago, Dr. Alain Georges Tundimbala, talking on behalf of the Minister of Public Health, said Cameroon remains the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic in the Central African sub-region, owing to the fact that at the moment we have gone past the mark of 8,000 and are approaching the 10,000 mark already. And he said, to justify this, that the government strategy to carry out intensive screening across the national territory accounts for the fact that this number increases every day. We have in the country 11 laboratories in 7 regions where testing screening goes on, and of course results are made public. Only for now, the South, East and West regions are still awaiting their own laboratories, so they carry out the test there with the rapid testing method. Well, according to the medical doctor, that is one of the reasons why the figures are increasing at a geometric rate in Cameroon. The medical doctor also applauded the solidarity that has been manifested by friendly countries and partners, as well as companies who have not hesitated to chip in support, multifaceted support in terms of material and finances to help Cameroon fight this common enemy, that is the coronavirus pandemic. And he also talked about the 170,000 face masks donated by the head of state, President Paul Biya, to the ministries of basic, secondary, and higher education to, of course, help fight the pandemic in the school milieu. And he insisted on the fact that the face mask remains one of the key barrier methods to fight against this pandemic in Cameroon, not leaving out the other barrier measures as the hygiene measures that has to do with the washing of hands and other hygiene measures that we all know. And Gladys, the message is clear. The coronavirus pandemic is a reality. Spread the message and not the virus. So the take-home message today is that we have 248 new cases, positive cases of the coronavirus in Cameroon. We have 70 recoveries and 6 deaths. Over to you, Gladys.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene. And the take-home message, as you say, is that we should keep safe and respect the government measures that have been put in place. Thank you very much. And councils across the national territory will soon have a digital platform where they can go to for updates on the coronavirus situation in their respective communities and the nation at large. An initiative of the United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP. To this effect, the mayors of the 7 councils in Yaoundé have been offered tablets, amongst other items, from the international organization through the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development to help stall the coronavirus. Yoti Kaleli Songe is our lady on that beat.
Going digital as a means to reject the coronavirus at the local level is now possible through these tablets. A donation from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, to these council authorities.
It's just a platform for local government council to have an exchange of information and experiences about COVID-19 fighting.
Hand sanitizers, cartons of soap and face masks also consist of the anti-COVID-19 package from the international organization.
We will also launch a cash transfer process to benefit of 3,000 vulnerable people to help them to fight poverty.
The UNDP has equally partnered with the National Institute of Statistics, henceforth charged with conducting a survey on the effects of the pandemic.
To know what is the impact of COVID-19 at economic, financial, and health area.
Apart from the 7 councils in Yaoundé, those in Douala, Bamenda, Marwa, and Limber will also be beneficiaries.
The government really appreciates the effort UNDP has deployed to bring this support.
Gifts, they say, will spur the councils to redouble their efforts in stalling the coronavirus.
Chinese electronics and media company StarTimes has donated a bulk of face masks to the state broadcaster CRTV to help check the spread of the coronavirus pandemic within the corporation. The donor also put at the display TV video clips of behavioral change sensitization messages for their audience. Yves Formoso attended the high-profile exchange at the Mbalatu Production Center. Yves?
StarTimes opened wallets and hearts for the Cameroon radio television during what has been termed global trying times. The Chinese electronics and media company handed over surgical face mask to the management of the Cameroon radio television, led by its Director General Charles Ndongo, who saluted CRTV StarTimes' existing ties. A true friend, he added.
A friend is not the one you just see in times of joy. A true friend is the one you see in times of difficulties. My dear François, please do transmit all my gratitude to President Pang. He has been always with CRTV in good and bad times. May our cooperation remain prosperous and outstanding.
On behalf of StarTimes, its representative François Zou said, beyond his company's technical support to the CRTV, it is also concerned with the corporation's well-being, evident in the donation. The company put at the disposal of the CRTV behavior change sensitization messages for its audience. CRTV's top management took advantage of the brief donation ceremony to encourage collaborators to keep up with their job, show love to those who tested positive to the virus, and promote effective containment measures.
The 4 national centers for youth and sports in Cameroon, Senages, have received COVID-19 kits to enable them fight the coronavirus pandemic in their respective institutions. The materials made available to Public Health Minister were handed over to the director of the various institutions this Wednesday during a ceremony presided over by Sports and Physical Education boss Professor Narcisse Mwele Kombi. Details with Baldwin Sama.
A timely gesture for the 4 different national centers for youth and sports in the country, receiving these anti-COVID sanitary kits to help fight against the deadly virus. They are in all 1,000 face masks, cartons of soap, alcoholic gel to be used by the different institutions as they resume with classes. Sports and Physical Education Minister Professor Narcisse Mwele Kombi urged the different school directors to respect government-outlined barrier measures against the virus. They, on their part, promised to make good use of the kits.
Doter les directeurs de Senages.
We decided to equip the different schools with the best materials to fight against COVID-19 and to follow up academic pedagogy.
Du coronavirus. D'assurer la continuité du service pédagogique.
With these kits, it will help us to stop the spread of it and to train good and healthy sports and physical education teachers.
As they leave for the different regions, they are well equipped to continue fighting against COVID-19.
And on to this advertorial, anti-COVID-19 assistance donation worth some 56 million CFA francs have been distributed to cocoa farmers via their different cooperatives across some 318 villages in the southwest region by Cameroon's leading cocoa export company, Telka Cocoa. The materials consist of cartons of soap, face masks, hand sanitizers, and bags of rice, which the management of Telka Cocoa says it falls in line with the company's corporate social responsibility. Dixon Ashu tells us more.
Telka Cocoa's provision chain has a competitive broad base that spans all 4 regions of the country's production hotspots, the southwest, center, east and south regions, wherein within 18 years the company has succeeded to revolutionize the trade and wooed over 16,000 cocoa farmers. The stakes of the current health crisis is frailing the chain of production amid other hardship. The management of Telka Cocoa is aware and concerned about the well-being of the farmers, so is bringing some assistance to the producers censored across some 318 villages. Everyone is to receive a share of the 3,000 face masks, 1,700 hand sanitizers, 18,000 cartons of laundry soap, and 1,700 bags of rice.
They can't work as they usually did normally. So that is why we are including foodstuff, considering the fact that we believe that their output in terms of production is not as used to be.
The program with our partners is meant to touch all Cameroonian farmers, so there's always a takeoff point. And what we're doing is starting from somewhere.
Distribution is ensured by all 13 active branches of Telka Cocoa, and priority is given to farmers' cooperatives. We have children who leave the urban areas to pay us visits here in the village. This makes us exposed to the COVID-19 pandemic, so this donation is timely.
It is not the first time. The management of Telka has always had us in mind, especially the rural women and children. We have received the gifts with gratitude.
We are embarking on this social dimension to keep the suppliers very positive and comfortable and to build up their mindset.
As a high-standing exporter of cocoa in the country, Telka Cocoa intends to take the corporate social responsibility even to producers of fertilizers, as evidence of other social works still stand in honor in terms of the provision of social amenities, award of scholarship training to cocoa farmers, and incentives.
Well, that does it on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. Join Romuald Chuisengok at 8:30 for the news in French. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. Keep the faith. Good night.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.